about the beginnings, at the beginnings before Pixar. Does exist something like that? Did you get involved in animation before Pixar, or it was the first? Pixar was the first production.
I was involved in making pictures on computers for a long time before Pixar, but there wasn't much computer animation, you know. So I actually got my start in computer graphics as an intern at NASA. There's a NASA Ames Research Center in the area that everybody knows as Silicon Valley, and so I started as an intern and got hired as a contractor there. I worked there for 5 years, and then it was scientific visualization, you know, trying to mapping the pressure from a wind tunnel test onto the skin of an airplane, which was kind of interesting for a while. But then I went out and worked at some Silicon Valley companies, and eventually found my way to Pixar.
Mm-hmm. And with Pixar, how was the beginning? How was the pioneering thing in animation, in fact?
Well, in the 1990s, or 1980s rather, they were doing short films. It was considered the research department. You know, there was just John Lasseter and a bunch of technical people, and I worked on the rendering software, which is, you know, makes the final images, and and we started selling that to other studios, and then more studios were using this software to make images. Disney started using it, and a number of Industrial Light and Magic would use it, and a number of studios around. And I got to be, excuse me, I don't know how much the video of me coughing and drinking
water. It's
natural. But there were a number of, we had a customer service department where people who bought the software could call up. But the big studios would always stump them. So Disney and people like that had my phone number. And so I was helping them with problems on when they first started using our rendering software on Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin and stuff like that. And I got more interested in what they were doing. and eventually, you know, we made Toy Story, and I just switched over into film production, starting with Jerry's Game.
And could you choose just one picture that you made? It's your favorite movie animation from from Pixar?
My favorite project of all the ones I've worked on is the one I'm presenting here this week, La Luna. Yeah, I was supervising technical director on that, with working closely with Enrico Casarosa, the director. It was wonderful to work with. His idea is just beautiful, and so I'm really proud of the results that we made.
I didn't.
It's a beautiful one. Sorry. In Romania was let's say distributed along with Brave.
Brave, yes, it was on the front of Brave.
Yeah, it's very soft. It's very gentle.
Yeah.
The story is great.
Yeah,
the animation is Pixar style.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, I love it. It's our short films are very often a gag. You know, they set up and then there's something funny. And there is a little one in La Luna, but it's not, the main thing is a story through these characters, yeah.
Yes.
I love that. And the feature films I've worked on, probably, they're always colored by what my role was. And my favorite role on a feature was Ratatouille, where I was shading supervisor and overseeing, you know, making all the food in Paris.
But what was the hardest thing to make in Ratatouille? Shadow issues and
the bread.
The bread?
Yeah, it's if you have a loaf of bread, it's really easy. You tear it open and it's no longer easy. It gets really hard because if you look at the surface of torn bread, it's all these little bubbles. It's really hard to do. So I was really proud we got a pretty convincing bread.
And in Monsters, you've got involved also with shadows and light. And in Monsters, for example, what was the hardest thing to do? Because they are very different, Ratatouille and the Monsters.
Yeah, Monsters Inc.
Yes.
Yeah, I worked mostly on the sets Monsters Inc. was well, it was yeah. It's hard to say. There was a lot. I did all the brick in Monster City, like on the streets, and I was just looking at it the other day and realizing the production designer was very adamant. He wanted this pattern of bricks on the streets, this kind of the fan shape that alternates, and there's actually a couple of shots where you can almost see it. But I got it there. So if you put the camera up and look down, you'd see this nice little pattern in the brick.
Okay.
And when they pointed the cameras, you didn't really see it much, but it was fun to do.
How do you work? You work also with the director and the whole team that made the story, or the story is also is done and your job is to work specifically on this.
Yeah, particularly on a feature, it's just the story is the story department owns the story, and we have Anim'est, the story reel that we're working from. So we pretty much know there. And then we're just realizing it and getting specific about it on how it looks in the digital realm. But sometimes you get opportunities to toss little things in that affect how it is. Not really changing the story, but just it's fun when you can contribute something like.
And with this 3D area, in a way, do you prefer 2D or 3D? Because you are working now at the Monsters Incorporated and Finding Nemo.
The 3D with the glasses.
3D.
Yeah, stereo.
How is the work with this?
It's stereo is interesting. It can work and it can get in the way. I like the way we do it. It's not. Some people find it not as exciting because we try and be gentle and not hurt your eyes. But I think I'm really proud of the 3D in Finding Nemo. I think that it's released in the States. I think it's coming here fairly soon. I think that just the movie itself lends itself to the 3D experience more than any movie I've seen before. So I thought it was just really nice. You really feel like you're underwater, and it just works really well. I don't always choose to see movies in 3D because they don't always, do it well. But some do. Like ours, I usually like the 3D, and there's been others like they vary.
Oh, I'm sorry. Because I think that the story is modified in a way when you make a 3D. You look at some parts that are more exciting, or can make special effects, and that's why I asked you which one do you prefer, but not in terms of story, in terms of animation.
Excuse me.
Do you want to
make a break here?
It's possible to answer. If it's not, it's okay. But I'd like to ask you something very, let's say, different. Did you meet Steve Jobs? I'm curious.
Oh yeah, of course.
How was he?
What's that?
How was he? I mean, in Pixar, he was the founder. He was.
I really enjoyed him. I appreciated him. He was great to Pixar. He treated us very well. He had great vision. Anybody else would have sold off Pixar before Toy Story came out. And he believed in us all the way. And so
But was he involved in stories in?
No, his relationship to Pixar was different from his relationship to Apple. At Apple, he really understood. He understood the computers in great detail. So he felt like he was the expert there. He didn't feel like that. He enjoyed the movie making thing, but he trusted other people to be the experts. So it was a much gentler, relationship.
Approach, yeah.
But it was very good. He was wonderful. Every time we had to negotiate a contract with Disney, I was glad he was doing it. He did a great job, and we really miss him.
Yeah. Did he like the movies? It's a stupid question, of course.
He loved them, yeah, and he would always have, he'd had comments on them and all, but he trusted, our filmmakers, because he knew he wasn't a filmmaker.
Yeah.
But he was great as an enabler, to help us do it. And he was very involved in designing our building. That when we moved into our own building in 2000, he took over the idea of, overseeing the design of the building. It was very specific about a lot of things.
How many short movies Pixar made in 1 year? How many short movies do you make Pixar made in 1 year? Let's say average.
How many we make up?
Short movies.
Yeah.
In 1 year, per year.
It's been changing because we've been doing a lot of. It's less than 1 year of original shorts, like brand new, like La Luna. But we do a lot of franchise shorts now, Toy Story shorts, Cars shorts. So, and we have another studio in Canada now that specifically does a lot of the production for those. So we've been getting a few a year, 2 or 3.
Okay, thank you very much.